What's happening?
What's up, good people?
Hey, the Remix in the building. Remix Morning Show was good.
It's a beautiful day. Get that boom bap breakfast. Good morning, everybody. Buenos dias, Deborah.
Okay.
Oh man,
Dad, I see you.
What are we, Lisa and Colt Jam today, fellas?
Absolutely.
Hey, we feel like it. I guess Jared got to be bow-legged Lou.
I wonder if I take you home.
Hey, listen. Okay, I
need you tonight. Let's go. I mean, let's get it started.
I got to get Kim some artwork. We got El DeBarge, we got Al B. Shore, and now we got
just Al
Lisa
today.
Lisa.
There ain't no L. This is your day to get the numbers up for Kalanji, everybody. Kamal's not going to be here, so I know you want to see the numbers go up in Kamal's absence.
I know, man. You got to definitely, you know what I'm saying? We got to hit 2,000 a day. You know what I mean? Show us what you got. Show us what you're working with.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Hey, for the first timers out here, leave a let us know you're here. You know what I mean? It's your first time. Leave something in the chat box or whatever, so we can shout you out. I want to shout out some of my folks from back in the day. First of all, my name is Kalanji Jamachanga. If it's your first time, let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Jared Ball.
My name is Kimberly Brown.
Yes. And we have a whole lot of other people who was just online before we got online. We don't know where in the hell they went. Howsoever, they shall
One
be
half
back.
of the Luke Bonds is around. The ear doctor's around.
Walmart. Okay. Made a producer.
The Bay running things.
Yes.
And we're going to hear from the African Esquire later, Tierney Cherie.
Wonderful.
And we got a couple other special guests and some other surprises coming up on this Thursday morning, our Remix Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Y'all know about that. We rearranged the whole week. You know what I mean? Mondays for y'all is Sundays for us. Tuesdays for y'all is Mondays for us. And today's Friday in the remix world. Shout out to the remixers. They out there.
Yes, indeed.
I want to shout out.
Mix-a-lots and the mix.
Oh, yeah. I'm not. I don't acknowledge no mix-a-lots, man. Mix-a-lots is folks who drink with us. You know what I mean, on the weekends. You know
okay,
I mean? All right. Remixers that's here in the morning with us. You know what I'm saying?
All right, fair enough. I can.
Yeah, that fair. We cool. We voting on that.
Hey, I'll let the folks in the chat. Absolutely.
You let the folks in the chat decide.
Yeah, I'll let the folks in the chat decide what they, if they're cool with that.
We're gonna put this to rest real quick. We're gonna put this to rest. We're gonna say, last vote, the remixes or the mix-a-lots.
Well, hold on, Kalanji. It's still early. We only got 49 people watching, so that's like half. That's a little bit than half of what we normally get. So we'll let everybody else get in and filter in, and then push it to the people and let everybody decide what they want to do.
Enough. So y'all want to
May says they voted already though.
Hey,
May is saying they voted already. The people have already spoken.
I think
I'm looking in the joint right now.
Called it the big lie. Kalanji called that vote the big lie. He didn't agree with that. He didn't agree with the outcome.
Oh yeah, I agree with it. It was the remixes. It was straight the remixes. The remixes. It was a landslide like Atlanta and the Knicks. Anyway, yes, it's the Remix Morning Show. We here right now. You know what I mean? I want to shout a couple people out that I went to school with that I've been knowing for like 4 decades. You know what I mean? My man Ed and Kenya Lanier, JJ and Dina George, you know what I mean? Shout out to y'all. I've been knowing y'all for 4 decades and whatnot. They said they was going to check out the morning show or whatever. So, I wanted to shout them folks out from back home. Anyway, shout out to the Knicks too. I haven't been a fan since my man Charles Smith left, but it's all good. ATL in the building.
You can't be a fan until they get a new owner. As a non-Knicks fan, you can't have somebody in there that's throwing out legends and blocking, even Spike Lee can't get in there. And that don't even mean nothing to me, but I'm just saying, I mean, just like, dang.
Hey, you know this bad because Jared was just dissing Spike Lee on on Renegade Culture about 3 weeks ago, and now he defended Spike Lee. So you're a fair brother, you know what I'm saying?
In the context of the Knicks, he deserves his seat. In the context of movie making about Malcolm X, I think he doesn't. But that was the only point I was making. That's in the
immortal words of Jigga, still nigga. You know what I'm saying? Oof. So they don't care about how many seats you bought. You know what I mean? You don't own the Garden, and they
carried Oakley out too, and then blocked Ewing. Even Patrick Ewing couldn't even get in the joint. Like what?
Ain't that something, boy? And that's New York.
When the massa is done with you, he don't need you working on his plantation no more. He ain't want you showing his face around the plantation. So, I mean, let's call a thing, gentlemen.
Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Brown is burning it down early in the morning.
Already getting it out the gate.
If you want to be a $40 million slave, ain't nothing wrong with it.
$40 million slave. Man, the stakes is high. Shout out to De La Soul. You know what I mean?
What was my man? Why I keep blanking on my man that wrote that book? Morgan State grad too. Why am I just and a good brother too.
Anyway, Dr. Jared Ball.
No,
right. Morgan State.
Somebody in the chat will tighten that up for us. But anyway,
tighten it up. Hold on, man. Minister Server.
Yeah, go ahead.
Minister Server about to get ejected from Renegade Culture tonight. I see him dissing my man Charles Smith talking about the guy missed 3 layups and lost the championship for the Knicks in '95. See, who's still talking about '95, man? Ooh. Somebody take Minister Server out the chat room.
I mean, that's as close as you all have been since the early '70s. So, I mean,
oh man, get up out of here, man.
Shout out to Minister Server, and please go check out not Renegade Culture, because it was I Mix What I Like that gave your brother Minister Server his full red carpet interview.
A word.
So please go check that out. You know what I'm saying?
I want to ask, since we beefing on podcasts right now, where did I Mix What I Like first hear about Minister Server from in regards to his history?
I'm saying, of course, Renegade Culture gets his credit. I'm just letting folks know. But if they want to actually hear the brother lay out his important history.
Well, listen, man, as 1/3 of Renegade Culture, or 1/5, depending on who you ask, I now say that there will be no more interviews from anybody from Renegade Culture.
Shut it down.
Without the express written. It's all shut down. So, Server, have your ass at Renegade Culture Studios tonight on time. How about that?
Hey, listen.
Anyway.
The author guys, a $40 million slave, William Roden.
Thank you.
So,
William C. Roden at that. I even remember the middle initial after that. Thank you very much. Brother Roden, thank you for that, Kim. And
the C is for sellout jail cell wise. Anyway, I'm just joking, y'all.
Okay. Real quick, speaking of C, here's the C I wanted to bring up real quick. It's not a story, but I just came across this a couple weeks ago. And just wanted to it's kind of a random, just a quick share with everybody, because I didn't really even know the brother was giving access to himself in this way. And I'm glad that he is. And the C I'm talking about here is Dr. Charles Finch. So I just wanted to quickly show that Charles Finch has a YouTube channel with his daughter, where they go in depth into all of his work, into the Kemetic origins and contributions to history and civilization. And of course, Kemet being an African renamed Egyptian civilization. So I just wanted to shout him out. He's a great dude. I've interviewed him a number of times, he studied under Check and to Jump. I just came across it. I just thought I just wanted to add that there's a little thing so folks could know. You can go see him whenever you want, as much as you like, and get all that good information that used to be very hard to track down, or at least much more difficult. So anyway, that was it. I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
We got to get him on the show. Shout out to Congresswoman Stephanie McKinney if you missed the show yesterday.
Absolutely. Speaking of C's, yes, indeed.
Yeah, the other C. You know what I'm
saying? Y'all keep springing these gems on us, man. Like, I mean, you'd be like, yeah, we got surprises. Bobby Seale gonna be on the show, and it's like, goddamn. Like, who can't y'all pull at 8 a.m. on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday morning? Like, kudos to y'all for giving the audience the high quality guests that Black Power Media and the Remix Morning Show deserves. I just want to say that.
I just heard
yes, indeed.
Ricky Ryan said they're running Stacey Abrams ads on our page right now.
So, oh, that's funny.
And show you how that shit. and show you how they flip that on us. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you don't have your own channel. Shout out to Fanny French. Fanny French, keep the tea bag in the tea. And also shout out to my man Jab, Dr. Jared Ball, because he understands that Uncle Niz has to be nearby.
Oh, anyway, absolutely. Always within arm's reach.
Yeah. But we have to to what you're saying, to your point, Kim, we have to compete with mainstream media. So if they can pull all these Negroes at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, anybody that says they're down with what we're down with, they have to show and prove. And so far, we've had some dynamite guests, everybody from Pam Africa, from Move, Professor Griff, my man Balogun, and
Jaleel Muntakeem.
Jaleel Muntakeem, you know what I mean? Cynthia McKinney. I mean, how many people you know can do that shit?
There needs, you know can I just say this? I'm about to put y'all on the spot. Y'all need to make a playlist of all the Remix morning shows interviews. Like, so everybody can go straight to the interview and find the interview.
Well, okay. That sounds
a good idea. It's a really good idea.
Just a suggestion. No,
I think it's a great idea. And so, yeah. And I'll just use that as a segue to plug for more support for the channel as much as anybody can, including if folks want to let us know. Because we got another great one yesterday, as a matter of fact. We do get emails offering various forms of support. If it can't be financial, we'll happily deal with some video editors to get to Kim's point, because I think that is a great idea. All the help we can get, and anybody working on tech that can help brother Baba, we'll we'll take that too.
Baba Luke Miles looking like cell therapy. Goody Mob, who's that looking in the window?
Yeah.
Luke Mom now.
Me and my family moved in our apartment complex. A gate where the serial code was put up next. They claim that this community is so drug-free, but it don't look that way to me, because I can see the young buzz hanging out on the stove. Something. Sorry.
I was going to say, y'all think that's just ODB and Raekwon on the wall for nothing?
Right.
Exactly. That's Kim Hop.
Yo, listen. From 88 to 08, I got rap music locked down. After 08, I ain't paid attention to shit that rap music has done, unfortunately.
But you know what's funny about that?
What?
We're going in today's show. We're going to go from Kim Hop to Crip Hop.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
speaking of special guests, so stay tuned. That's right. People don't know what's coming. Crip Hop is coming up. So anyway,
before we go to the ear doctor, I want to announce too that tonight, tomorrow, 9 p.m., pay attention to Renegade Culture, Universal Hip Hop Museum. We have some legends that'll be on, but we're not going to tell you too much about that. We're going to go to the ear doctor right about now.
Oh, hey Kim.
Yo,
you know what else they tried to do? Make a curfew, especially for me and you. Word up, big up everybody.
Yes.
Give y'all some of this weather and give y'all some of that CeeLo impersonation. Y'all like that?
That fly soccer jersey remix.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just remembered why.
Yeah. What's good, everybody? This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and this is Black Power Media. And once again, you are tuned in to find out what the weather is, because it's not like you can just go outside and find out yourself. So let me help you out. Anyway, we also want to make sure you know about different places throughout the world that you might think about traveling one time or not. So let's start off with Biloxi, Mississippi. That's right. Big up to David Banner. Big up to all my Mississippians out there. We got a high today of 83 degrees. Now let's take it over to Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake City, Utah, where the guys out there got more wives than Phalon. Big up to Salt Lake City, Utah. We got a high of 93 degrees. And then we're going to take you over to Khartoum, Sudan, where they got a high of 100. It's going to be hot in Sudan. Big up to all my Africans in Sudan. Woo! Yeah. And then we're going to take you over to Jamestown, St. Helena. where they have a high today of 75 degrees. And then after that, we're going to take you to Rome, Italy. We got a high of 82 degrees. Never really wanted to go to Italy. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And then last but not least, we're going to take you to Stockholm, Sweden, where they have a high of 70 degrees. Now, today, there's really nowhere that's colder than the white man. But since we're talking about Stockholm, Sweden, let's talk about Stockholm Syndrome, which is a psychological response. It occurs when hostages or abuse victims bond with their captors or abusers. This is a psychological connection that develops over the course of days, weeks, months, even years of captivity or abuse. So when we think about Stockholm Syndrome, who do we think about? Yeah, we think about him. So that is what it is. Stockholm Syndrome, Stockholm, Sweden. Big up to Daniel Cameron. Not really, but you know what it is. Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Show with the crew. You know how we do. Yeah.
Me and you.
Yeah.
The traces of the new world order.
She's still over there trying to remember that.
It's gonna be a goner. My mind won't allow me to not be furious, but something is to make it serious. Right. And then what's the last line? I can't tell if the gate was put up to keep crime out or keep our asses in.
There it is.
Peeking in my window. Sorry about that, Air Doctor. I was thinking of that line the whole time. What's up, Kalanji?
You got to stick to DC hip hop, man. You can't be coming messing up Atlanta classics. We in Atlanta, we got to deal with this. You know what I mean?
You ain't even from Atlanta, so let's start there.
Whoa. well, Bridgeport classics. How about that? Let's start with that.
Skinny boy.
Because there ain't no such thing as Bridgeport classics. So let's start there.
My man Mike. Shout out to my man Michael J. White. When you see Kim up in Maryland,
we talking about Spawn. Is he got his walker? He got his cane.
You better leave Black Dynamite alone.
Oh, okay. Y'all coming from Bridgeport today? I see how we gonna do this.
Nobody coming from Bridgeport.
Producer, mute these people. Anyway,
I'll catch y'all later.
See you, Doctor.
All right, Dear Doctor. Wow.
Anyway, man, she gonna mess up the classic and then talk trash. See how we do?
First of all,
I am hip hop.
Second of all, and third of all. Say, how come it's just me and y'all? What's going on? Is this Shalimar? Am I Jody Watley? Which one of y'all is Howard Hewitt?
Wow.
Well, by default, we know who Howard is. But, minus the fro. Now you know what's happening. Elder's on the road today. Shout out to Elder Barge, aka Kamal. You know what I'm saying? He's doing cover tunes somewhere in the Ukraine. But he should be back soon, probably next week. You know what I mean?
All right.
Baba Lukman, he was on here a little while ago, but I think that technical difficulties have defeated him temporarily. So Sister Jackie will jump on shortly, and or right now, as a matter of fact. Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. I hope you can hear me.
Bonjour,
absolutely. And she will take over the interview that they're going to bring us in a few short minutes. And then so that's why the numbers look the way they do this morning. And then, as I said, African Esquire Tini Cherie is checking in later, and again, we got a couple of other special guests coming. But right now, if we can, Sister May, can we get to that news segment? Can we get that globe running real quick? Get that remixing, spinning globe, and come on. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, everybody. Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media, getting into a little bit of news here. And a couple of things, somebody checked me in the chat, and I appreciate it. I said the word soccer, and they were saying I gotta, not be so Yankee about it and get to and recognize that it is football. And one of the reasons why I like world football as opposed to what is known as North American football is because the NFL, not of course that world football is not, but the NFL is just racist as hell, and that has been yet again exposed as such, as they have now pledged to halt belatedly after long last their race norming policies, which have suggested over the years that Black players started out with lower cognitive function. And they have settled a $1 billion settlement of brain injury claims, and pledging to review past scores for any potential racial bias. The practice made it harder for Black retirees to show a deficit and to qualify for an award. The standards were created in the 1990s in the hopes of offering more appropriate treatment to dementia patients, but critics faulted the way they were used to determine payouts in the NFL concussion case. Wednesday's announcement comes after a pair of Black players filed a civil rights lawsuit over the practice. Medical experts raised concerns, and a group of NFL families last month dropped 50,000 petitions at the federal courthouse in Philadelphia, where the lawsuit had been thrown out by the judge overseeing the settlement. So just essentially, again, in a incredibly violent sport dominated by Black players, not owners, coaches, executives, but players, where there's this tremendous risk to health long after people play, in average, which is only about 3 years, I believe, for the average NFL player. Black players being assessed and being said to be at a lower cognitive function to start with couldn't be seen as taking that much of a drop in the post-play assessments, given that they were already starting from such a low I guess point of entry, so to speak. So
shout out
Black
to
people
shout out to white America for being racist as hell as usual. My only thing, I thought we was boycotting the NFL anyway. I mean, I'm confused about why the NFL is even still being talked about, because of the fact that, I guess, like Martin Luther King say, Negroes have a 6-day memory, but nowadays it's like 6 minutes. You know what I mean? So,
well, I actually haven't watched the NFL since Cap took his knee. But I just do, I did catch the news and thought, since apparently a few people still do watch the game, that story was quite fascinating. But yeah, I have been to your point, I've been in my own personal boycott for a number of years, not just because of Cap, but also because my team, which was supposed to be played down the road in Washington, D.C., I had long left as a result of the name that they belatedly changed, begrudgingly, I should also say. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, but
no Cap. Anyway.
Yeah, the interesting... Yeah, that apparently there are a couple of players who are suing the NFL because of that practice that they've had, and there was I think a leak, I guess, or the court discovery of a bunch of emails from the NFL physicians who were, being really honest about this practice being biased and racist, and that they need to fix it. But they also said that they're under a lot of pressure from the general managers and the front offices not to say anything about it. So I thought that was a really interesting part of this, where the doctors who are doing these assessments in the NFL are admitting, yeah, this is some racist stuff, but hey, what are we going to do? And it's like, how cowardly can you be? If you know something is wrong, you do something about it. So I feel like that's one of those situations where this is an example of the systemic problem, where people are like, oh, I don't want to risk my position to fix something that's wrong and damaging other people. So, oh, woe is me. What am I going to do? It's so difficult. And people continue to suffer and struggle when nobody wants to grow a spine and just stand up and do what's right.
I mean, let's be clear here. I mean, the only reason that, number one, that there has been a resolution to this, or at least on the surface has been a resolution, is because there was litigation brought, right? No corporation in America does anything based off of its own benevolence, right? Like they have to be forced/compelled to do things via the courts. So if these families had not have brought this lawsuit, this practice absolutely still would be going on. So, you know, I mean, there is no end seemingly to racism, but racism can occasionally be checked by bringing lawsuits. And it's unfortunate that the lawsuit is the reason that this race norming practice is coming to a conclusion. We hope, because that's what they say. They say they're going to stop it. That don't mean that they actually are going to stop it, right?
And paying out $1 billion is, I think, what is that? 1/5 or 7th of 1 year's TV contracts, or something like that.
That's Roger Goodell's sofa lent.
Exactly.
Right. And we keep in mind that the NFL is a nonprofit organization, and it's all kinds of loopholes and games that they play in order to make their moves. So, you know, and when you sue America, I mean, it really doesn't count. I mean, you know, I'm sure that a good Dr. Jared Ball can get into the whole money side of things, but we know that it's all game anyway at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's just the cost of doing business, so it's not for them. It's well worth it. And in fact, just quickly to Kim's point, if I can, I don't want to inappropriately throw this label on either of us, but just as a sort of satirical segue into this question of the intractability of racism, or why some have adopted the label of Afro-pessimism. When I have felt most Afro-pessimistic, it comes when looking at stories like the one we just saw yesterday, as a result of Fauci's emails being unearthed, and the fact that I have to say that I found myself in agreement with Senator Rand Paul on the critique of Fauci and the question of where did these viruses come from, and to what role is the U.S. funding of research abroad playing in all of this? So in this story that came out yesterday, and obviously I'm just speaking for myself here, and anyone else on this issue, please do check me if I'm missing stuff here, because there's so much happening. I don't claim to be anywhere near an expert, but I did find it interesting that in response to those the drop of all those emails being released and I guess curated by the Washington Post or somebody, Senator Rand Paul from Kentucky shared 2 words in response to the news of unearthed emails from Dr. Anthony Fauci, and they are "told you." And it's in response to basically Fauci and Rand Paul having a long-standing argument over where, to what extent did U.S. funding of research abroad, in this case in the Wuhan labs, play in the gain of function research and the adjustment of and creation of viruses for the purposes of figuring out ways to suppress them and destroy them, that got let out, et cetera, and so forth. So when initially there was a refusal that could be a possibility, these emails seem to suggest that they are beyond, or at least at minimum, a possibility. And that, as it says here, the National Institute for Allergies and Infectious Diseases, funded by, of course, the federal government and run by Fauci, did in fact, or may have in fact, or look to have in fact, played a controversial role in developing this Wuhan lab COVID virus with this $600,000 federal grant that was used to do that. So anyway, and my point about the Afro-pessimism is that in a situation where if I am feeling like I either have to agree with either Fauci or Rand Paul, I feel like that is a depressing and desperate situation that I don't feel comfortable being in one way or the other. So anyway. Well,
I agree with you agreeing with Rand Paul. I don't want to go on record saying I agree with Rand Paul, but I agree with my brother Dr. Jared Ball agreeing with Rand Paul.
And if he agrees with Rand Paul, then
I smoked, but I didn't inhale. How about that?
Oh yeah. I'm being asked to share the link. I put the link to that story in the chat, and then of course we can always add them to the show notes at the end of the show as well. But here it is. I'm acknowledging it's a Fox News story, but you know,
killing
anyway.
us today, Jared.
I mean, but the sad part is now I honestly I didn't research this in terms of a sort of a media analysis, but I think that the sad part would be that it would take a right-wing outlet to raise a positive criticism of Fauci in this way. Because the left, I think, would be less inclined or disinclined, certainly more than the right, to be seen as publicly criticizing Fauci or raising that issue, or being seen as giving justification or legitimacy to Rand Paul, or to suggest that he might have actually been correct. Because anyway, so. Like I said, for me, it was a story encouraging. That's where my pessimism comes in. I don't know about I can't claim anything about the accuracy. It just seems, anyway, interesting. So I thought I would share that with everybody this morning.
On something random. Shout out to Bob Skaggs. Anyway,
wow.
You giving Fox News shout outs on Black Power Media, Jared?
That's why I said it's an Afro-pessimistic type of story. And by the way, one more that I'll get to, because I know we got a special interview coming up. Speaking of Afro-pessimism, this was sent out on the good listserv of the good folks at Black Alliance for Peace, that a new investigation reveals a role of Israeli operatives in Colombia's political genocide. Known as the Red Dance, the systematic murder of the Patriotic Union remains one of the most extreme cases of political violence in Latin America, and new evidence suggests that it was concocted by one of the most decorated spies in Israeli history. Anyway, I don't, something again, I don't claim to be any sort of expert in, but I will share this link as well. But it just starts off by saying on April 6, 1984, a group of men dressed in police uniforms arrived at the home of Miliciades Contento in the town of Villota, Colombia. Contento was a peasant, communist, and member of the Patriotic Union, a newly formed experimental political party born out of the 1985 peace negotiations between the conservative president Bernardo Betancourt and the guerrillas of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. The men seized Contento, tied him up, and dragged him away. The next day, his corpse was found in a nearby village. The story goes on to explain the evidence suggesting that Israel was involved with that. And I will, of course, make that link available as well, too. And we'll continue to follow that story and maybe get in touch with the folks that we know are down there as well. And people can check out our interview with Ajamu and Charo Mina Rojas on the website as well for more on the backstory of what's going on in Colombia. So
I'm looking forward to the day that charges are brought up on Israel and the United States for all the crimes against humanity that have been committed. I mean, there's not enough prisons. There's not enough fines. There's not enough executions. There's none of that can suffice all of the atrocities that they've committed throughout the history of the world. I mean, not even the history of the world. We can just go back to last century alone. You know what I mean? I mean, it's I mean, incredible, to say the least. But
who would bring the charges? Like The Hague only seems to prosecute African leaders, right? And Jackie Lukman, help me on this, because I think the only European to be brought up on genocide charges, like past the Nuremberg trials, was Mikashenko. He was one of them Chenko niggas. I can't say Milosevic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, I'm a revolutionary. I'm talking about the people bringing up charges. I have no faith in any system here that I have no faith in these systems here. So, I'm talking about the people whenever we are bold enough and organized enough to rise up and say, you know what, it's time for this empire to go as well. The Roman Empire left, the Greek Empire left, and it's time for these bastards to leave as well. So that's it. When I'm talking about charges, I have no faith in the United Nations or any other entity that exists where quite frankly, any European sits, period, unless it's John Brown or
guillotines. Roll out them guillotines. We need guillotine manufacturers. If I can invest in whatever company makes guillotines, and I wish it was Negroes who would start the guillotine manufacturing company, let me invest right in them guillotines, please.
Hey, they'll be chopping our heads off first. They're like, well, here's your check.
They would outlaw. They'd outlaw guillotines. They'd outlaw blades. They'd outlaw guillotines. They'd start outlawing lumber.
Right.
Black folks purchasing lumber.
Everything. Ginsus, everything.
Yep.
Switchblades, butter knives, the whole nine. That's how it goes around here. Anyway, something bad wrong with y'all talking about guillotines. There are people that it's your first time listening, first time checking us out. I apologize on behalf of our staff. You know what I mean? They're a little wild early in the morning. This is a hell of a jolt of coffee that you get when you check out the Remix Morning Show. It's intentional? Oh, you're right. You're right.
Jackie, the people in the comments got jokes for you to say that you look like you work for air traffic control this morning.
She trying to show Baba Lukman which way to go, because Baba Lukman came on the joint. He was definitely looking lost.
That way, yes.
Yeah, we had to connect connect his computer to all the setup, and we didn't do it last night. So I tried to do it this morning, and it didn't work out so well. So
that's okay.
Yeah, he came on the joint, man. He was looking quite confused. But,
he was doing a Boyce Watkins like.
Boyce Watkins looking for his facts. Speaking of which, tomorrow morning, just real quick, tomorrow morning when Brother Kaba joins me, we are going to get into the latest from Roland Martin and Hill Harper, talking about buying power and cryptocurrency. We're gonna break all that down, have a little fun, because they've been way too deep in Boyce Watkins' anti-financial literacy videos. So.
I mean, Jared, here's my question. If Black people got so much buying power, how come we own fewer houses now than we did 50, 100 years ago? Like, why is it we have less, but seemingly let the special Negroes tell it we have more money, but we seemingly have less? Make it make sense. I don't understand that math.
There's no sense in that.
It's understandable. So Kim has just fully explained the whole myth just by raising the question. So
one quick
we're
swift.
Going to shut everything else down. Just put that on repeat, and every time you see Roland and Hill pulling up, just push play on Kim.
How we need to get them on the show?
I think y'all could get Rolly to come on the show. I think Rolly would do it. Rolly ain't scared. To his credit, Rolly, I mean, he come across as a semi-bougie Negro or a bougie Negro altogether, but Rolly ain't scared. Like Rolly would come on here, I think.
Hey, I tell you what my uncle told me. There was a whole lot of people that weren't scared that got their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So come one, come all, we're about to get hectic. You know what I mean? You know, you have an invite. Shout out to all you Negroes that want to come on here and challenge anything.
The one that hit the thumbs
said.
Down again. I think
he hit the thumbs down.
Is he the one thumbs down? So everybody else go ahead, hit that like button, because we do have the one thumbs down rocking right now.
Oh my God, Roland's on here like, I don't like this shit.
I don't like them. Hey, but listen, Jackie, I just want to check in. I think you all had something special for us this morning. How are we looking on that?
I'm looking for our guest, and
okay, I just wanted to make sure we were.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped in yet. Let me check and see what's going on.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
hope he's not on Roland's show.
Now we would stop being friends if he did that.
Okay, good.
Anyway. But I also think, but they also mentioned something that I was reaching out to another one of my buddies on about because I want to get more into this at some point. This issue of cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about this more in depth a little bit tomorrow morning. But you know, what part of that discussion that they had is Hill Harper telling everybody to sell their cash and get crypto, with the idea that Black people will be able to eventually become the ones in control of what he is saying is an asset class. And this would be the first time Black people could take control of an asset class in cryptocurrency. And I think that there's just a lot of bad economics and worse journalism involved in this. So we're going to try to get, address that with some depth a little bit tomorrow.
I mean, is Hill Harper like an economist? Like, does he have any credentials in this field? Like, if he
has a bachelor's from Harvard,
nigga, please.
That's all you need.
A bachelor's from Harvard.
and he's a doctor on TV.
Oh, wow.
He's a doctor.
Well,
Harvard, please. Hey,
Harvard.
Listen,
That's all right.
I need Black people especially to not be impressed by Ivy Leagues. Please. I mean, please. Just stop it.
Unless it's the Africana Studies and Research Center at Cornell University.
I guess.
Well,
whatever.
But even then, actually, at this point, I don't even know anymore. When Dr. Turner was running that joint, for sure. But I hear you, Kim. You want. Hey, look. I'm Hill. Hill is the dude that played the fictitious good guy cop in one of Tyler Perry's destructions of that sister's book that I'm forgetting her name, forgive me, but the one they turned into that movie where brothers are throwing babies out of windows and all that kind of pathology and all the incestuous pathology. You don't remember them? You remember his movies? Whoopi Goldberg in there.
I had a quota for Tyler Perry movies that I would watch, and I
missed that one.
Oh wow! It's the For Color Girls remake that he did.
Yeah, I did not watch that one.
I was conscripted into some research for a book chapter, so I had to watch all of his stuff.
Wow!
And
so sorry, my condolences.
Yes.
Bless you, my son.
It's crazy. I am literally less than 5 miles from Tyler Perry's studio, and I probably can't name, outside of the fact that he played Medea, I probably can't name like 3 of his movies. So forgive me for not being able to.
It's a lot of trauma.
It's
a series of trauma.
Starting with the writing. The writing is traumatic. the dialogue and the scripts of Tyler Perry's movies are quite traumatic.
I read something
notwithstanding.
I read something saying he writes like 10 scripts a year, something like that. I'm like, okay, it shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like,
and it's the same storyline. Yeah. And he doesn't hire other writers. He's very anti-union. He doesn't spread. The reason all of his stuff is such garbage is because he writes everything. So he starts from the same bad story that he wrote and just writes in different characters. And he doesn't have a writer's room. He won't spread, he won't bring more talent in, new talent and new ideas. And he just won't pay other people that money. That's how he got rich. And he's anti-union. So
I mean, but why would he? I mean, why would he pay someone else to write his smut if folks are going to buy it anyway? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Like, let me share my wealth, and I'm a capitalist. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean,
that's true.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dawn. A new billionaire, exactly. Tyler Perry, billionaire.
But what's crazy about that? The crazy thing about that as well is like this whole concept of the billionaire. Folks get all excited, like such and such is a billionaire. But then you look and you see some of these white boys with $260 billion and we're like jumping up and down talking about somebody's a billionaire. But anyway.
Which also doesn't help us either. Look, I'm very proud of a chapter I co-wrote on Tyler Perry and the Mantan Manifesto and all that. But I'm all you need. I think the Boondocks said it best on him. I'm team Boondocks when it comes to an analysis of Tyler Perry.
And shout out to Aaron Magruder, Howard County's own.
Howard County,
Maryland.
Columbia, Maryland, baby.
Yeah.
That's how we do. We produce nothing but fine work.
Remind me to tell you about the Aaron Magruder story.
No.
One of these joints. I'm gonna say that for another joint or whatever. So
Look, don't you disrespect the God, to use your language.
Listen,
Aaron
man.
Magruder, the God.
The mean streets of
Cornell
Howard County.
West.
Hey, these tree-lined streets, I'm trying to tell you, these tree-lined streets is rough.
It's rough out here,
y'all about
Jackie.
that life,
Oh boy,
man, it's hard out there
making
for a
me
pimp,
lightheaded. Stop.
That's okay. I'm always lightheaded coming on here.
Listen, I know this is forgive me for the inelegance, but we do have Jackie's guest. So why don't we go ahead and let you jump on and handle that, and then we'll come back with much more of the remix here on Black Power Media shortly thereafter.
Cool.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I am so excited to be hosting our brother and our friend at Serve Your City, DC, and among other places, Maurice Cook, for our community call out segment today. Every once in a while, we like to do this when we know people or link up with people who are doing great work in the community, doing good things for our people. We always talk about the problems, the challenges that we have,
Right.
but every once in a while we like to highlight the people who are on the ground offering some solutions. And brother, dude, I saw the pictures of that you posted on social media of the babies at the trapeze camp.
Mm.
What the heck? So, I mean, that was so dope. So, Maurice Cook, tell us about yourself. Tell us what Serve Your City is, and tell us, what you do, what this passion is that you have that we are seeing evidence of, and it is so beautiful.
Well, good morning, Jackie. So thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show. I love y'all's show, and I hope I can get on with the whole crew. And I don't know, y'all need some way to have the fans interact and engage with you. It's such a blessing to see our story being put out there, our perspective. When you're not tied to that mainstream system, when you're not afraid, you're not living on your knees because you want to get your check. What a blessing! What a blessing! And it's a legacy that we leave with our children. So they can't deny how we felt. They can't create the narrative anymore. And so thank you all for doing the work. So I know it's a lot of work for Black Power Media. I know it's a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. Thank you all so much for doing this work to leaving our kids this legacy. But yeah, I'm Maurice Cook here in DC, Chocolate City. I'm still holding on, to a city that's I know, right?
Yeah, we still chocolate-ish.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that has everything to do with, the creation story for Serve Your City. I mean, first, Serve Your City is, a local nonprofit organization, and we're not really a nonprofit, but the white man makes us be a nonprofit to receive any type of, respect or credibility. So we formed a nonprofit, but we really, I always say a fake ass nonprofit, because I'm just an angry, hurt Black man, at the end of the day. And what you see in Serve Your City, what we do is, we do as much as necessary to be able to give our younger people, our families, the poorest among us, opportunity and access. And we just demand it. And we hold people hostage. And we, I tell them straight up, you're not going to put an opportunity in our face and deny it from us. And if you have the power to do that, but I have the power to cuss you out. And it's just that simple. Wow. Really. It's just that simple. And so Serve Your City is really about, the trauma I experienced growing up, poor, gifted, and angry and hurt. I was able to see all these opportunities that other kids had to have, got to have because they had the money. And the only reason I couldn't participate in these activities was because I didn't have the money. And it stung me, it hurt me. And I carried that with me. And, it's just, I'm trying to heal, really. And so selfishly, I got to say, it's about my own trauma and drama. Really, I got to say, it's the truth. I mean, that's the truth. But at what point do we demand to take advantage of those gifts our ancestors have laid before us, right? All the sacrifice. And so Serve Your City was born in 2009 and 2009. And we started with an after school program, me bringing down GW students to a local elementary school, because as DC was gentrifying, you started seeing the disparate outcomes within the same building in the school. That was the beginning.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So I realized, hey, integration is that's not the solution, because you have a building full of Black and white children and some brown, where the outcomes are basically the same. And so it was a challenge. I said, how in the world can they say, okay, since we go to school together, now everybody has the same access to these resources? That's not the truth. That's not the case. And
Right.
so I wanted to make sure that we could fill in the gap. And what we grew into was a program that offered academic support, and then also offered, co-curricular programming. And our first, kind of our highlight program was our rowing program. And basically, 9-10 years ago, even longer than that, 2007, they really started building up on the Anacostia River, at the boathouse, right on the river. And this is as they were building Navy Yard, knocking down Ellen Wilson. Right, they were knocking down Ellen Wilson, and I would go down to Southeast M Street and then ride along the river and take pictures. And then I went all the way down to the boathouses, and I saw nothing but white people on the river. And I said, on each side of the river, Black people live the closest to the river, and we have the least amount of access. And so it's a blessing. 11 years later, we got the only majority Black-led youth rowing crew in the city, and it's such a blessing. And rowing, rowing has been, it's an exclusive country club sport, and
it is.
I knew of it because it was one of those sports that, again, I didn't have access to, and so we built from rowing to tennis to swim, snorkel, scuba diving instruction. To yoga, and now we're doing trapeze at the trapeze school. And so see, that's what that's about.
And see, I'm smiling so much because I had the same kind of attitude that you did. Like, I saw kids in the whiter schools in DC. Like, my first experience with this disparity was like going to Wilson for the essay, and it was for the SAT prep, and seeing for the SAT, and seeing that they had SAT prep classes, and over at Ballou we ain't had that, and I'm like, what the hell? You mean somebody could have helped me prepare for this test? So I didn't discover the joy of things like horseback riding and, swimming and canoeing and camping and that kind of stuff until I was an adult and I had my own job and I was able to have a little bit of money that I could squirrel off to the side. But when I was a kid, we ran around in the woods over off Parkland Place.
Right.
But that was, other than going to grandma's during the summer, that was the only outlet that we had. So it is a beautiful thing that you are exposing our babies to the freedom and the joy and honestly the ownership of these kinds of activities that they wouldn't have had otherwise, all because they're poor and they're Black.
That's it.
So, I mean, just exposing these kids to this world of, and this is a different take on opportunity for me, because we always think of opportunity as like job skills, life skills, and they're important.
Financial literacy.
Right. Don't get us started. Don't get Jared started on financial. But the opportunity to enjoy leisure, right? To enjoy these things, that's an opportunity that so many of us have never had. And for you to expose our kids to that at an early age, that is revolutionary to me, I think.
Absolutely. And it's wellness, it's violence interruption. Everybody makes this big, complicated, nuanced mystery on how we stop all this violence. And do you think the city has given us any money to do these efforts? Do you think the foundations have we've only gotten one real large foundation support, one, and we just got it. And I've been doing this I've been doing this for 11 years, right? Because I'm Black, and that's the way they're going to treat us. And I'm not going to sit at the table. I don't want to be in their club. I'm the founder, the quote unquote executive director, but I'm a worker. I'm still that kid that y'all denied these opportunities to, even though I knew that they existed. I will never lose sight of who I am and my identity. And so I'm coming to them with the righteous anger. And then we have, you know, a lot of leftists, a lot of progressives who they listen to these white foundation folks and they basket what our revolution looks like. They say,
speak on it.
This is not organizing. You're a liar. When you have to have our children connect to the beauty of life, that connection, something greater and bigger than themselves, in order for them to believe that they themselves can be the answer to all the issues that they have. And so it is absolutely organizing. It is revolutionary. You can't organize people. And you know, I do mutual aid as well. And it's all combined. I mean, so now we have a computer refurbishing, business. Now we source devices to make sure all of our families have devices, because we can't depend upon the system to give it to us. Now we have internet access. You know, now we provide hotspots. But these are all tied together. I mean, it looks like I'm wearing many different hats, but it's really all one thing.
Right.
They keep us begging for just the very basic things for us to be able to experience humanity and being treated humanely. And so providing this access and this opportunity so at such a young age normalizes the connection with the natural earth and with animals and with one another, and exposes them to a whole different world where they know they're not stuck in their current condition.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to see Serve Your City not only grow, but expand to wherever it is people are watching. So how can people who are watching support Serve Your City? How can people get in contact with you? And how can people support this effort? And we're going to have you back on again, because I really want to talk about all of the stuff that you just mentioned that you do in detail. But I wanted to give people a taste of the kind of work that needs to be supported. So how can people support y'all?
ServeYourCityDC.org. All one word, ServeYourCityDC.org. I took it as a take on Serve Your Country. And so it's ServeYourCityDC.org. And basically the name comes from the fact that we have this whole global international charity network that will go off and do water treatment programs abroad, colonizing us, stealing our resources, mitigating the consequences of their imperialism, while right here in Washington, D.C., they've colonized us. We have the very same issues of scarcity, of having our resources extracted. And so I wanted to bring, that ethos of serving the world or serving the country, bringing right back here in DC, ServeYourCityDC.org. Buy our Juneteenth t-shirts. We're about to have a merch shop created by 3 young Black men, one returning citizen. I make sure that, I try to give as much money to our brothers as I can to build, what it is that our people need. Because, hey, look, I'm trying to duck out and retire as fast as I can, before other people come after me. So cool. That's the strategy. That's the strategy.
Cool. That's beautiful. Maurice Cook, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll definitely have you back again.
Hey, and tell this that was brother say what's up. With Brother Luke Mine. Tell him I said what's up.
I will tell him. I will tell him that. And this is our segment of community call-outs, Luke Mine Nation on Black Power Media. And now we're going to the Ear Doctor. Peace, y'all.
Hey, Jackie. What's good, everybody? This is the Ear Doctor, and y'all are tuned into Black Power Media. This is the RemiX Morning Show. Please make sure y'all like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's on again every Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And make sure y'all go to patreon.com and throw a little something in the basket so we can make sure that the movement continues to keep growing and growing and growing. right now I'm in school. I'm in class. I'm here to give you a little bit of class, music class with the ear doctor. So you ever hear a song and be like, yo, I'm pretty sure I heard that song before. So check this one out. So that's Sweet Sable. She rocked that song Old Time's Sake. That came on the Above the Rim soundtrack. And that was that song right there. But you be like, yo, I know I heard that song before. So with that said, let's play the original. And let me know who you think did this. Sped up and slow down. Here we go. Yeah. All right, that was no other than Eddie Kendricks right there. Intimate Friends. The first song was Sweet Sable, Old Time's Sake. And this is Eddie Kendricks, Intimate Friends. So that is your sample for the day. This is a music class. Make sure y'all tune in because I do a lot of this right here on Sundays. This Sunday at 8 p.m., we're going to rock and do some neo soul. We're going to take you back to neo soul. But that's what it is. Let's get back over to the morning show. Intimate friends.
What's happening?
Yes.
Ear doctor doing his thing.
Ear doctor, every show. Can we please do samples every show? You are that is speaking directly to me right there. I knew that was Eddie Kendricks too. And Eddie Kendricks has been sampled a bunch of times. Y'all remember Mr. Cheek's big hit Lights Camera Action? That was an Eddie Kendricks banger.
Yes. We're gonna get to more of that. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, and I'll catch y'all later.
Good
right
shit.
on.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Remix.
I will look here, good folks.
Yeah.
We got a special guest coming up. I'm gonna rap to him for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna come back and I think we should talk a little bit more about the sample game because I think Kim is right on point yet again with that as well. But anyway, let's run this and catch up with a guest, very special guest, and talk a little bit. I said we were gonna go from Kim Hop to Crip Hop. This is what I'm talking about. We'll be back. Check it out. Remix Morning Show. All right, what's up, everybody? Back again here at the Remix Morning Show. I'm very excited to talk with our next guest. From Harvard to the Whitney Museum to media engagement for disability in Johannesburg, South Africa, Leroy Moore has more than 20 years of activism, journalism, writing, lecturing on race and disability. Black disabled poet, activist, and author of 5 books on Black disabled issues, from poetry to children's books to his recent graphic novel Crip Hop, Volume 1, that was published in 2019 by Poor Press. After writing Black Disabled Art History 101 in 2017, he was visited by more. He was visited more often by Black disabled ancestors who pushed him to write his recent book, Black Disabled Ancestors, under Poor Press of Poor magazine. Also in August of 2020, Leroy and Naru Quinn released their film on Blind Joe Capers, who changed Oakland's music scene in the 1980s and 90s. And in fall of 2021, Leroy is going to start his PhD in anthropology at UCLA. I'm talking about Leroy F. Moore, founder of Crip Hop Nation, who since the 1990s has written the column Illin' and Chillin' for Poor magazine, a publication and outlet I'm a big fan of. Shout out to Lisa Tiny Garcia and that whole crew. And Moore is one of the founding members of the National Black Disability Coalition and an activist around police brutality against people with disabilities, along with much more. Please welcome to the show, Leroy Moore Jr. Brother Leroy, good morning, and thank you very much for getting up early with us out there on the West Coast. Appreciate you joining us.
Hello, Dr. Ball. Thank you so much for having me. It's very unique to have Black media really reach out to Black disabled people and really talk about the issue. So thank you for having me.
Well, let's start there. I mean, why is it unique for a Black press outlet to reach out to Black disabled folks, particularly Black disabled activists such as yourself? I mean, I've heard you make this point before, and this is our first time having you to the platform. So on some level, I'm participating in that problem too. But why is that a particular issue, do you think?
We got to go back to slavery. We got to go back to slavery because, under slavery, Black people picked up the slave masters' thinking about disability. And at that time, it was erase, you get killed, or you overcome it. And unfortunately, the Black community still has that slave masters kind of thinking around disability. You overcome it, you get services, then you go on. They don't think about it politically, culturally, historically, artistically. They just think about, okay, get services, I overcome it. So we're still dealing with the Black with slave masters thinking around disability.
You do a lot of work around the issue of disability and police violence, and often when we hear the cases of people being killed by police, we hear at times that there's some issue of a disability being involved or misunderstood or not being recognized. But I don't know that issue in and of itself gets, its appropriate attention. So could you talk a little bit about why a specific focus on the Black disabled when it comes to police violence?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that out. Yeah, 70% of all police shootings are people with disabilities. And
you said 70?
70%.
Wow.
70%. Well, what's out there now is 50%, but I say 70% because most of the recordings are mental health disabilities. So if you open it up to all disabilities, then it jumps up to 70%, especially people with autism. That's the highest, first is the highest in mental health, then autism. But the people in the press, the media, and even lawyers don't consider disability when they, pick up the case or when they talk about it in the media, it's erased. So I say it's 70% of all police shootings are people with disabilities.
And are you saying then that fact is intentionally suppressed?
I think it's suppressed because of lack of education. Once again, a lack of knowing that disability is a political, cultural, historical kind of thing, and also it's a hush hush thing. We worked with a lot of lawyers that thought that if you bring it up in the case, it becomes overcoming it. It's not as a part of the case, unfortunately. We had to educate so many lawyers around disability to bring it up in cases. I work with Cop Watch here in Berkeley. Poor Magazine has the training, they were calling the police, and those two groups worked with lawyers, big time lawyers that are known for police brutality cases, but they're clueless when it comes to disability.
Wait a minute, did I hear you say? Are you saying that lawyers will sometimes say, if we bring up my client's disability, it will work against us in court?
Yeah.
Help me out with that one. I don't, because, or maybe this is my ignorance or ableist bias, but I would think that the initial thought of a jury would be to think of that as a mitigating factor or something that would be, to help. That would be, that they would want to bring up. Break that down for me.
Yeah, that's our thinking. It's like it's the key subject to a case, but lawyers and sometimes parents think that if you bring it up, then the jury's on like, it's charity, that weakens the case. I don't understand it, because it's a main issue of the case, and to not bring it up is really shooting yourself in your foot. But once again, it goes back to that slave master kind of thinking, of overcoming and not really thinking disability as a political, cultural, historical kind of viewpoint.
All right, last piece on this, because I am. What do you mean when you say that? For instance, what do you mean when you say disability is political?
Yeah, political. Thinking disability as a political entity. People with disabilities. March with Martin Luther King. Malcolm X's mother. Was in a psych ward. So thinking disability as a political lens when we look at disability, that changes the whole aspect. It changes how you study disability. There's disability studies now. The National Black Disability Coalition have been working to get Black disability studies. So that changes the whole viewpoint. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't change the whole viewpoint, you're going to see the Black community continuing to be left behind, because the Black community is still in the religious model of disability, and the religious model is like you overcome it, you heal from it, and you move on. So with that viewpoint, you never get to the political, the radical Black disability history. You don't get to the activism. You don't get to the music. I mean, the blues is nothing but disability. You don't get to that because you think you're gonna overcome it. So yeah, it's a whole mind shift.
I will listen in the few minutes that we have left. Let's talk a little bit about the music part, because I talked about some years ago I was introduced to your work is the Crip Hop Nation, and that work. And as I said at the beginning of the show, we were going to go from Kim and Kim Hop to Crip Hop. So talk a little bit about that. What is Crip Hop Nation?
So Crip Hop started like about 14 years ago. Me, Keith Jones, and the late Rob Denoise Temple. Because I was always into music. I loved the blues before hip hop. I loved rock, and when hip hop started, I was in New York, so I saw hip hop on the streets before it became, in TV and all kinds of stuff. And I always looking at it, it's like, where is Black disabled people in music? Today is June, Black music, awareness month. But where's black disabled people? You know, we've been here.
I guess all we had was what, Bushhead Ed?
Bushwick,
Bushwick. Yeah, I mean, not Bushhead Ed. That's my man in DC. Bushwick. I'm sorry, Bushhead Ed. That's my man. Shout out to the Soul Controller. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And we had a lot of black men becoming disabled and dying early. Matter of fact, our group, Black Disabled Men Talk, we talked about that last time. We talked about, why is black men in hip hop become disabled and they die quickly compared to, black women. So, we talked about that in our show, Black Disabled Men Talk. So,
are you saying black men who are disabled die earlier than black women who are disabled?
Yeah, in hip hop, when black men become disabled in hip hop, you see that they pass away, So, recent cases is, I can't remember, the DMX, he was struggling with his depression, and passed away, Bushwick Bill, so all of these black men, when they become disabled, they pass away quick. I'm hoping that Dr. Dre, get some teaching around his new disability, because he had a brain stroke. So I hope he gets, really some education around that, because we see it constantly when black men become disabled in hip hop. 2, 3, or 4 years later, they're gone.
Listen, I'm going to put the link to Poor Magazine and all your work in the show description, the show notes for this show. But tell us a little bit real quick as we have to wrap up here about Poor Magazine and the work you all are doing and have been doing for a long time.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Oh yeah, Poor Magazine is kicking butt. We've been doing this work since the 90s. So Poor Magazine has homefulness, and homefulness is a way of living. They are building houses. They have their own school. Matter of fact, we just had a graduation of 5 boys of color. All 5 boys were, rejected from, public school or put in federal education. So we have our own school. We have our own radio station. So homefulness, it's a new way of thinking. So Poor Magazine has been doing these teachings around, wealthy people to redistribute their wealth to people that's been here. So because of those teachings of the last 10 years, we had a chance to liberate a piece of land in East Oakland, and now we're building houses for no income. So yeah, we've been doing this way before the pandemic.
Right on. Hey, well, Leroy Moore, I really appreciate you, man. Soon to be Dr. Moore. We'll definitely be in touch and have you back. Appreciate your work. And shout out to Lisa and the whole crew at Poor Magazine and Crip Hop Nation and all of that. Thank you very much for joining us and getting up early to do so here at the RemiX, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And once again, check out Black Disabled Men Talk. It's the only talk, show on YouTube that deals with Black disabled men. So check that out.
All right, right on. Thanks a lot, Leroy. Appreciate you. And we'll get back to the RemiX Morning Show here at Black Power Media. Thanks, everybody.
Dope.
Outstanding.
It would be better if my mic was not muted.
Outstanding interview there, Jared. That was extremely enlightening. Very appreciative of Leroy Moore sharing his experience. That was extremely good. Thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. And thanks to Leroy and the good people out there at Poor Magazine, man. They've been doing a lot of great work for years. Anyway, yeah, it was a pleasure. And again, thanks to him getting up extra early out there in the West Coast too.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, you know what I'm saying? What a pleasure it is to be a part of Black Power Media because of the fact that we bring so much good shit. And I mean, for real. I mean, this is the fan side of me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not the, you know, the being part of the show, part of the you know, a owner or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is me being a fan because of the fact that it's real cool to see us represented in different lights and highlighting folks that need to be highlighted. You know what I mean? My youngest son is functionally autistic. You know what I mean? And me as a man, you know, you wouldn't be able to tell if you just saw him. You'd just be like, you know, oh, he's like Kalonji. He just talk shit. He's gonna say what he say and move on. You know what I mean? But you know, I remember just being in denial when his mother was talking about even getting him tested as, you know, like 2-3 years old. As Black men, we're always in denial about shit because the fact, like, there ain't nothing wrong with him. He's good, he's strong, he's healthy, you know. And I would be in the meetings and whatnot in some of these therapy sessions, and I'd be grilling these doctors and these therapists like, fuck y'all talking about? I attitude, you know what I mean? And, you know, but definitely shout out to Leroy for speaking on the different types of disabilities. Because of the fact that, you know, he mentioned some of the rappers and depression and all of that. Folks don't look at depression as a disability. You know what I mean? So definitely, man, you know, I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to have so many great people on board because of the fact that, you know, shit, it's the remix and we dope. Duh.
No, I appreciate that too. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Kim. Yeah.
No, it's really important that we have conversations about disability, especially in the Black community, because as Leroy mentioned, there's a big issue with ableism in the Black community, and Black folks need to look in the mirror and acknowledge that and do way, way, way better. If it's from the example that you gave, Kalonji, if, you know, in the instance of perhaps denying or not coming to accept right away a child's diagnosis, or how we interact with people who are visibly disabled in the street, right? Like I can speak as a disabled woman, and I'm not always forthcoming about my disability from a safety perspective, and I'm not about to disclose it today, but I can tell y'all that for people who are visibly disabled, they encounter issues where strangers are coming up to them, giving them unsolicited medical advice, or coming up and grabbing their bodies, right? Touching them in some way, moving them in some way, because seeing disabled people out and about still makes people uncomfortable, able-bodied people uncomfortable. And I think we need to have this conversation a lot more. And I think that Leroy just brought up so many different points, from disabled Black people being targets of police violence. A couple people in the chat brought up some examples of deaf people who have been murdered by police because they were not able to follow the commands, because police didn't even consider that they could be dealing with someone who is deaf or hard of hearing. And that poses a danger to our deaf brothers and sisters, just as one example. As Leroy talked about, people with autism, people who are experiencing different mental disorders. So yes, this more. That was awesome, Jared. More, and more. Yes.
That was a plus. I mean, both guests, I want to say too, man, both guests today were definitely awesome.
And shout out to Maurice, who became a member.
Hey, man, definitely, man. I appreciate his work because of the fact that we have a youth program here in Atlanta, the Seattle Youth Corps. And we don't teach the same things that he does, but a lot of similarities. So, you know, I'm always grateful to see brothers and sisters in different areas that's putting in that work because of the fact that, like he said, like he mentioned, someone said that's not organizing. Anyone that would think that has to be out of their fucking mind because of the fact that when you talk about organizing, if you don't start from the most minute level, you know what I mean, then you're not organizing. Organizing is not just going out with flyers. Organizing is not just talking shit online and going to rallies and protests and all that type of stuff. It's a lot of grunt work. It's a lot of behind the scene work. And that's what nation building is all about. So shout out to Maurice and shout out to Leroy. And I appreciate the fact that we can go from a Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney to a Leroy in 24 hours. You understand what I'm saying? And still have that punch and that impact. You know what I mean? What morning shows fucking with that? Part of my English, because some of y'all like, he be cussing. Yeah, I do, but fuck that. I'm happy.
Anyway.
Yep.
Hey, look, speaking of somebody that's not a foul word, the ear doctor is standing by. He's out there. Let's check in with him real quick before we move on and get to the African Esquire. What's up, sir?
What's good? What's good? We're gonna get to an artist spotlight real quick, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So let's get it.
All right. In that fly football outfit.
I don't know about that.
Remix.
Yeah. What's up, people? Welcome back out. This is the Ear Doctor, and this is Black Power Media, and this is the Remix Morning Show. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give a quick artist spotlight to a good brother, friend of mine, who goes by the name of Jaha. Actually, the dope thing is we actually had this brother on Renegade Culture, and he got to come and perform. So what I want to do is put y'all on to him, and at the same time, y'all can go check him out at Jaha 143. But this is a song right here. It's called Principles. Check it out.
I've come a long way from where I started, chasing my dreams, and to be honest, I've been up, I've been down, I've been trying to find my way. Through the good and the bad, always kept my integrity. You see, cause I will not go wrong. So my song is to be relevant. I still stand on principle. I know nowadays let's stop the way you went.
All right. So that's what it is. Check out my man Jaha. That's Principles. Dope music. So let's get back. Let's get back to the Remix Morning Show, y'all. All right.
Yeah, doctor. Whose email is that at the bottom of the thing?
Whose email is that? that was his @ where you could go check him out and get some more information on him. But like I said before, if you got some music and you got something dope, send it to eardoctormusic1@gmail.com. All right.
I'm plugging off the double @ in your email address @ eardoctormusic@gmail.
Hey, you know how I get down. I got to do it different. I don't want to be like everybody else.
I got you.
I want a correction real quick, Ear Doctor. I think some people were confused. They thought you were saying Jai High. So I noticed in the chat, folks was thinking that they thinking it was our own Jai High.
I thought the same thing. That's not him.
Nah,
me too. So,
Jaha.
Yeah.
It even looked like him for a minute. I thought it looked like him. My bad.
Hey,
okay.
Hey, listen, I was like, when the hell Jai started singing and rapping and shit?
I know. He only known for lifting weights. All right, catch y'all later.
Salute.
All right, well,
for the show.
Yeah. So listen, before we get to a whole bunch of things, including our culminating wrap-up discussion, I think we need to check in with our good Esquire. Everybody needs, unfortunately, at times you need a good Esquire in your corner. Might as well be an African Esquire.
And it can't be Kamal. Anyway, let's bring it on. We're African Esquire today. Remix.
To the Black Power Media family. This is Tierney Cherie, the host of African Esquire TV, and I'm here with your weekly Pan-African mashup. So we're going to talk about a number of stories of things that are happening throughout the African experience, and we're going to start with the country of Mali. There's a lot of tension going on right now in Mali. The reason is because there was an interim government that was put in place after last year's coup. Well, there was another coup, and the military junta, which took power in the original coup last year, has once again seized power. This, we can tell, has made the West and also different African countries that are allied with the West very nervous, because the people in Mali were supposed to have election next year inside of February, and that was going to essentially set things as the status quo. But this obviously is a threat to the status quo, and any threat to the status quo is going to receive a lot of reactions from those who are trying to bring everyone into the global colonial system and the power plays with the West in Africa. So the response has been the AU has actually basically kicked Mali out of the African Union, and also the ECOWAS have done the same thing. France has actually threatened to withdraw troops from Mali, but I don't believe that's going to happen personally. Things that we should keep watching though, and things that we should keep being abreast of, specifically seeing what's going to happen. Is this junta something that's being driven by the people, or is it being driven by personal interest, or is it being driven by Western interest? These are things that I don't think that we have enough information on yet, but it's certainly something to keep watching. A big story coming out is that Germany has agreed to pay $1.3 billion to Namibia over 30 years. And this is for an apology to the Namibian genocide. Emphasize apology. They're not calling it reparations, and they're doing that strategically. They're also saying that this will not carry any legal significance because they do not want in court for there to be a call for reparations. Now, it's important to emphasize this was a payoff, and it really was not something that was going to do right by the people. You should know that because the Herero and the Nama people of Namibia were not even involved in the negotiations. So this is the colonizer setting the terms of their own agreement or their own settlement. This is something obviously that's being done for a symbolic gesture, similarly to how France, Emmanuel Macron has recently gone into Rwanda and apologized for the French complicity with the Rwandan genocide, while also saying it's not our fault. These are symbolic gestures. And unfortunately, they kind of work for some people, but I don't believe they work for all people. People want power, people want justice, and they do not want these meal concessions that are not going to do anything to change their realities. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors has stepped down from her position. Now, this is very interesting because, of course, she has gotten a lot of backlash in recent months, really, because she owns a lot of property, more property than people were comfortable with. And it seems that there's really a spirit of enrichment inside of some of the movement people who are the go-tos. Now, something that should also be noted is that she's not leaving the position of Black Lives Matter to do further activism. She says she's leaving to write a book and for a Warner Brothers deal for Black stories. The question for us African people should be, what accountability are we going to start demanding of these people who get enriched on something as horrific as police brutality and are allowed to just go into corporate America based off of the money that they've received from their work? Meanwhile, the families who are directly affected are still suffering and still dealing with the trauma from those events. These are all things for us to consider moving forward as we organize. And lastly, we'll talk about AFRICOM, and specifically the United States presence inside of Kenya. We should know that the United States has been beefing up their presence, their military aid, their military support for the Kenyan military. This is one country, of course. This is not a regional bloc. This is not the entire African continent. It's one country that they found that they said is opportune for us to work with. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're also doing this at the same time that they're sanctioning Ethiopia over the things that have been reported about the Tigray crisis. Now, it should be noted with regard to this crisis that they are using words like human rights, and that's the reason why they're sanctioning Ethiopia. Meanwhile, they'll obviously turn a blind eye to other human rights atrocities whenever it's their allies. That tells us that the United States has another reason for wanting to get involved, and I believe that it has a lot to do with the dam that the Ethiopians are building, which will give them significant control over the Nile. It's been a dispute between Ethiopia and Egypt, and the United States got involved under Trump, who said he's going to blow up the dam, and here we see Biden seemingly taking the same course. So something very, very significant could come out of this. And we're really hoping that a war with the United States using Kenya as a proxy, that we're hoping that that is not in the future. That's all I have on these stories. If you want to catch the full stories, you can catch them on my channel. And until then, I will see you guys next week.
Right on.
What's happening?
Great information there. Great information coming from the content.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to African Esquire, Tierney Cherie. Thanks again.
Okay. Very dope again. It seems like, you know, we back to what was it, Shalimar, Kim?
Shalimar or Lisa and Cult Jam, whatever you prefer.
I mean, I came front, man. I mean, I like Lisa, and I like the Cult Jam, but I always think about Full Force when I think of her because of that song. And it's just like, I guess the production itself and those cats right there. Whoo! Yes. It was just such a nightmare during that time.
Wait, what?
Why a nightmare?
Don't diss.
I mean, those cats, man. I mean, you know, they reminded me of the Booyah Tribe back in the day. You know what I mean? It's just big with Jerry curls and all that. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, them cats look corny to me, but that's a whole nother story, man.
The tank tops with the dress pants.
Yeah. That one too. Those a little different. Those before my joint. You know what I think we should do?
Sounds like jealousy to me, there, Kalonji. Because maybe that tank top wasn't sitting right on you like it was sitting on bow-legged Luke. I mean, I'm just saying.
That's why he had all that martial arts training. that little people problem, that tiny man issue. Look at it.
Word. Oh. Okay, now. Hey, Jared.
I can't fill out my tank top, so I'm gonna learn how to bust somebody's knuckles up.
I thought we had a truce. You know, I got more photos.
I'm saying we're not even paid back on that yet.
Oh no, I'm saying we got a truce.
I'm just waiting.
Hey Kim, don't get it twisted. I got one for you too.
So, snap! Come on now, no.
You're gonna be Cult Jam. You're gonna be photoshopped in the Cult Jam for real.
Yeah.
Anyway,
get me to your place. Hey.
Hold on, man. Kevin Wilson said I rock polka dots. Yo, listen, man. I ain't even going front. I'm gonna say this on the Remix Morning Show one time and one time only. I was in South Carolina around 89, 90, and I did have a red and black polka dot suit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course you did.
You know, I was rocking Kwame for a minute, but
that's right.
That lasted about 30 days because my folks weren't having it. But anyway, I think what we should do, man, we should do something that we never do. And that's open up to the chat. The chat might have some questions or whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that since this is a different type of day, we can do a Ask the Remix. Can we do that today? We got about 19 minutes left today. Y'all cool with that?
James Thompson said full force, get busy one time. That's right. I remember that. Come on.
James Thompson, you my man, but chill, man. You know ain't no full force getting no play on this ride over here, man. Stop playing. We should all be against full force. Now I like the Force MDs. Shout out to them. A lot of those brothers transition. You know what I mean? But yeah, full force just never did it for me. They was like the lifers or the Booyah tribe or something. Like I said, they just weren't popping.
Listen, them gentlemen produced some R&B hits. They really did. And unfortunately, I'm blanking on all of them right now. But I supported that full force sound. They had quality production. They were good producers in addition to being artists, and of course, they were the ever present foil and villains to Kid and Play in all the house party movies. So Full Force has cemented their position in Black entertainment history, as far as I'm concerned. Now, am I calling them icons? No, but are they there? Absolutely, they are. They left their mark.
I mean, Kid and Play was whack too, man. Stop playing.
Wow, you're such a hater, yo.
I mean, the only thing I like.
Oh man,
I mean, you talking about Duncan Penderuse and what's my man's name?
I don't know what their names are, man. But I mean, come on, man.
In Class Act. Blade Brown.
Mad disrespectful, Kalanji, man.
Kid and
Play was
mad disrespectful.
They had cartoons. They done had
what?
Movies.
Thank you.
A signature dance.
Thank you.
Guys, you just mad because you wasn't that. You couldn't do the Kid and Play stuff.
Thank you.
You're probably right.
Put some respect on the Christopher's name.
You know why? Because Kalanji was the one ear doctor. Because Kalanji was always the one at the house parties bumping into the DJ table. That's probably why he mad. That was him.
Like, sitting against the wall like this, like talking about people.
Right.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Hey, y'all haters, man. Shout out to Rakim. Shout out to Kane.
Nah. Let me explain something to y'all real quick. Hold on, because I know y'all gentlemen, y'all 50, and I'm about 7-8 years younger than y'all. So what I'm saying is, like, y'all might have thought Kid and Play was corny, but when I was 12 and going to see House Party in the theaters, like, Kid and Play was the shit.
If you 12, then that's cool.
That's right.
I can unite with that.
Conversely, I don't remember it badly. I don't remember that as like a whack period. I remember that as like a fun period. Like, look at rappers dancing, look at rappers acting, look at rappers in comedies. Like this was a period of renaissance for rappers from my perspective.
Come on, the first Diddy was Herbie Lovebug. He brought out Kid and Play. He brought out Salt and Pepper. He brought out Kwame. He brought out Dana Dane. Come on.
Shout out to Herbie Lovebug. And Herbie was dope. And I love Dana Dane. I love Salt and Pepper and all them. But Kid and Play was whack, man. Stop playing, man. You know what I mean?
Man, this is shameful, Kalanji. You've moved into Kamal anti Big Daddy Kane territory now. You like.
I mean, are you gonna put Kid and Play and Big Daddy Kane in the same?
I'm not,
man?
but
come on,
of course
they both dance and rap.
But hold up now, ear doctor. Now you going too far now. Hold up. There's levels to this. I'm just saying you don't have to disrespect Kid and Play like that.
That's right.
I ain't gonna disrespect them. Where are they now?
That's right. Still doing shows as far as
they still doing shows.
Yeah, they still doing shows.
You mean to tell me in 2020 y'all go to a Kid and Play show? 2021?
I didn't say I was going. I said that they still doing shows though, but I don't knock them for still doing shit. Kalanji, the levels of hate though. Like, I'm really disappointed in this right here. Put some respect on some culture creators' names, yo. Kid and Play put their name on hip hop culture. You got to respect that. They got a whole dance that people still trying to do 30 years later.
Yeah, I mean, I would take the first Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince album over that, man. So
well, that's good. Anyway, we ain't got no questions in the remixes.
Well, there was one question about because the chat, they all think they have all the answers. That's what that is. But there was one question about South Korea being an empire.
We have an echo. What's happening with that?
Yeah, what's happening with the echo? Who was that? Is that Kim?
Is it me? How I don't know how it could happen.
I don't know. Might be. Yeah, I don't know.
1, 2. Okay.
Yeah.
He left. I think it was the ear doctor. That was Kid and Play trying to hijack our joint. Shout out to Marcus saying Kamal has a Kalanji mask on. We beefing.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know how. Anyway, just real quick just to address that question real quick. I don't see how South Korea could be considered an empire, especially when the United States is still standing here, and especially when they can't even unite their own country. Much less be an empire. But so I'm not necessarily understanding the context. If there was some more context to that question, but yeah.
I mean, do we look like? I mean, not let me not speak for y'all, but do we look like experts on South Korean imperialism? Like, of all questions, chat.
I mean,
speak for yourself, Kim.
Speak for yourself, dear
I can tell you now, my acupuncturist is from South Korea, and he has he has laid it out to me all the reasons that South Korea is not a good place. Now, that's just one person's opinion, but is that enough for me to pontificate about
South Korea is not the good place?
Yes,
I thought in this country, I thought only the North was supposed to get the grief.
No, he said that he left South Korea. He said he won't ever return to South Korea. And he said that South Korea, first of all, according to like freedoms and stuff, for example, you can't criticize the government. They will come to your house and get you, right? Like it's not all good over there.
Like the U.S.
No, because I talk shit about Joe Biden all the time. Tucker Carlson tried to send the FBI to my house and nobody came knocked on my door. So I mean, I feel comfortable criticizing all politicians from this side of the pond, but apparently in South Korea, it does not go down that way. And from my acupuncturist perspective, he claims that North Korea is actually the real freedom fighters for Koreans, right? Because he basically said South Korea acquiesced to the imperial powers, whereas North Korea did not. So that's why North Korea gets all the global crap that they do from the U.S. and China. Well, less so China, but more so the U.S. But yeah, so that's so strange. Somebody would ask us about South Korea of all places.
I would rather listen to your South Korean acupuncturist rap before I listen to Kid and Play. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow.
Still, you don't let the hate go. It's real Sagittarius.
It's not even hate, man.
Last night had them all. Come on, man.
Now we're gonna have the ear doctor mess up some lyrics. But anyway,
you're gonna make me pull up all the Kid and Play's joints.
Got to.
Yeah, you do that. We'll wait.
It's not that many.
Speaking of Kid and Play,
yeah. Dev, just real quick, Dev, I think makes a good point in the chat that what we call North Korea is really the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. So that is a good point. We have been almost forced to accept these simple labels and descriptions from our overlords at Google, Apple, and the NSA, and all et ceteras. But yeah, so appreciate Dev for that one, and good to see you in the chat this morning. Yeah. Anyway, that's the point. When you got people like Ricky and Dev in the chat, they're not going to be too many questions. There's going to be a lot of comments and criticisms and contexts and substantive additions made. So. Maybe we should ask them. We should be. The host ask the
chat.
The chat.
What y'all think about that? Couple more questions. Yeah. And you could ask about anything.
But we was talking about earlier who gets the pass. The white people that get passes into our music, into our
white
culture.
Musicians who get whose music gets played at the cookout, not who actually is themselves or they're invited to the cookout. That was the specific lane we were in.
So gentlemen, before you guys go any further, can I just ask y'all a question? Sure. Is this the conversation we want to have during Black Music Month? I'm just
you know
curious.
what?
I'm cool if we have it. I'm just
maybe this is the time to have that question.
Okay.
No, but that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, definitely. We give
Tina Marie and Michael
McDonald.
First ballot.
Yeah. We got Michael McDonald.
First ballot.
Mm-hmm. We got Blondie.
Boz Skaggs. You gotta get out of here with that.
I keep saying Boz Skaggs. What?
I got little Boz Skaggs, man. Bobby Caldwell. Thank you, Silver.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Who else we got?
Who said? I think Abdus is not paying attention. He said Frankie Beverly and Mays.
Oh my
bruh.
Abdus is talking about white people. Dawn, I'm gonna accept George Michael as an honorable mention.
But not Wham. but not Wham. We had that disagreement off air beforehand. I'm saying George Michael is separate from Wham. Wham, I don't think did anything musically. What? George Michael is, I think, a different
Whisper.
Oh yeah,
definitely Hall of Notes.
All that
definitely Average White Band.
Wake
all
Me Up Before You Go.
All That She Wants is the original Baby Mama drama anthem. Go back and listen to All That She Wants. That is a jam.
Yo,
definitely Kenny G and Michael Bolton.
Frank Sinatra.
Negative on Kenny G and Michael Bolton. Frank Sinatra.
No, Kenny G is absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
Kenny G?
No.
He's a procreator.
I mean,
do
we really want to go there?
Who did A Love of My Own? As sooner you give, the sooner you get to have a love of your own. Who is that? Average White Band?
All right, Minister Service said Eminem. Eminem get a pass?
Yes.
Hell no.
Oh.
Yes.
Hell no.
Absolutely yes.
It's hard to give him a pass.
I say Beastie Boys.
I can't do it. I take the Beastie Boys.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I can't mess with Eminem, man. I just can't do it.
Speaking of white boys, we got Pete Nice from Third Base on Renegade Culture coming through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they get passes. They get Third Base gets passes.
How y'all slandering Kid and Play, but y'all giving Third Base passes?
Not y'all. That's him.
Look at that. Look at this carry here. Not y'all. That's him. But,
that was you. I'm not rocking with you on the Kid and Play.
I mean, you ain't rock with Third Base.
I am with Third Base. Kim is anti-Third Base.
First of all, I can only tell you one Third Base song, and that is the Gas Face. What was name me two other Third Base jams?
Step Into the AM.
Okay, that's one.
Number one.
And that's it.
Right. The whole
there's another one. Hold on. There's
Cactus
more.
album itself. Go back and check it out.
Yeah, the Cactus album was.
But more than Third Base, you got to think about MF Doom coming out of that whole camp. When you talk about what's the name of the group, man? Peach Fuzz.
And let me,
group.
I'll say rest in peace to MF Doom, since Kamal was not here to hate on dead MCs and artists.
No doubt.
I will say rest
the Weasel. That's right.
Yo,
they Weasel. Yeah.
Three. Okay,
three.
Y'all got it.
They say Lisa Stansfield. She had one song.
Nah, Lisa Stansfield had a lot of songs, man. You bugging.
She had a whole album because remember there was a whole lot of debate.
Name more than one.
At least or Been Around the World. You Can't Deny It. And there she had another joint. You
already beat Ear Doctor's test. You named two.
Wow.
And then she had another one. I thought there was another one, but I got Lisa on playlist.
She had a whole lot of hits.
I don't know about a whole lot, but she had more than two. I think more than three.
Somebody said Simply Red. I don't know about
no, thumbs down. Now let me test my people who mess with the UK
Dusty
folks.
Springfield.
Thank you. I was about to say Dusty Springfield. I was about to say Swing Out Sister. I don't know if y'all even know who Swing Out Sister was. They was a British band who did.
You about to get a lot of thumbs down today, y'all.
No, we're not.
It's supposed to be Black Power Media, and y'all talking about what white groups could be in the soul joint. Shut up and listen to the music.
And no to Robin Thicke. Absolutely no to Robin Thicke.
No.
Definitely hell no to Robin Thicke. And I also want to say, what's this other clown name?
Thank
you, John B.
What count John
Mayer.
B?
John Mayer. The hell with him too. I want to point out John Mayer's mother was my English teacher, and his father was our head principal at Central High School in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And his mother was scared as hell of me. I used to go like this, you know what I'm saying? To her, because she was that's a whole nother story. But John Mayer is a racist bastard. Fuck John Mayer. I see him hanging out with black folks, but he gets pass.
I got to give Billy Joel a pass too.
No, but do you remember that John Mayer said that? Wait though. Remember when John Mayer said he made that comment about his penis being a KKK? He said his penis is the Klan.
Okay, all right.
Because he wouldn't. He likes black people, but he would not mess with black women.
The feeling is mutual, John Mayer.
That's right.
You do not make the sexy white boy cut. There's nothing about John Mayer that says, let me try that. No.
Jay-Z tried to help him.
What about Steely Dan?
Steely Dan, they're definitely in.
We'll take Steely Dan.
All in Oats.
Somebody not paying attention. Someone said y'all missing out on Michael McDonald. Honey, Michael McDonald was the second one that we named.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Michael McDonald is in there.
We talked about Adele too. Does Adele get a pass?
Adele gets a pass.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Amy Winehouse, the goddess. We put some respect on Amy Winehouse. Now, dog, when I go back and listen to Amy Winehouse music, it's almost unreal, like what her voice sounded like, and like considering what body that voice was coming out of. It's like, how did you ingest all of this soul, Amy Winehouse? Like, how are you able to convey this with your voice? It's amazing.
I think, but to your point, Kim, I think this is how I would connect it to Black Music Month, that the artists that we're mentioning are either well-versed as much as they could be in the sound, or appreciative of the sound, or influenced by the sound. And this is, and at Black music parties are often included in one form or another. So that's how I would at least, try to deal with that dilemma that you so appropriately raised.
Somebody said I got a Britney Spears tat. I'll come in the chat and smack you in your teeth, Kevin Wilson. Britney Spears, nigga, come on now. Stop it.
Damn.
Now,
Kim come off the stage.
Now, I will make the connection between New Edition and New Kids on the Block for women of a certain age, like who was
man.
Yes, because New Edition and New Kids on the Block were both discovered by the same person out of Boston, Maurice Starr. Signed them both, and the New Kids on the Block initially was trying to come across like White Chocolate. Like they had a song called "Please Don't Go Girl," which had some
and they were racist
influence. Too. I don't know if they were racist.
Too.
I mean, they might have been racist. I was at the New Kids on the Block Magic Summer Tour at RFK Stadium in 1991. I was down there, and they had a lot of black girl fans because it was not a whole lot of Black boy bands for girls of my age at that time. Like New Edition was a little older than me, and the boys in such groups didn't come out until a little later. So New Kids on the Block.
Shout out to Menudo.
Listen,
Ricky Martin. Oh my God.
Ricky Martin. Listen, just real quick, because I know we're about to have to wrap up here at the Remix Morning Show. I just want to quickly remind everybody, first of all, thank everybody for another great week. Our colleagues here, those in the chat, those in the audience, as we wrap up on our Thursday, Friday of the week. But BPM is going to be rocking starting 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, all throughout. We got stuff coming through all throughout the weekend. We got special events. We got all kinds of stuff coming, all kinds of stuff you could go catch up on. And then we are happy to graciously invite you to step away briefly from BPM to check out Burn It Down with Kim Brown, and then just hop on right back over and get all the other good stuff, and then keep it moving. But thanks to everybody here and there, our guests, everybody, appreciate you very much.
And for the new folks, definitely subscribe to Black Power Media. You know what I mean? We appreciate y'all coming on, but stay tuned for show. And this is the remix. And fuck Machine Gun Kelly, Abdul. Stop playing.
And Vanilla Ice.
And Vanilla Ice. And Eminem.
I don't know about Eminem.
And France.
And France. And the whole nine. Remix, we out of here, man. Burn it down. Everybody.